AI tools versus AI systems. Let's say this is making money online. We'll put this on the coffee pot here. And this is an AI tool. And you might look at this AI tool thinking, wow, this is really going to help me. I'm going to get to my goal in no time just by using this magic tool. And let's face it, there's a new magic tool coming out pretty much every day. But the problem is, you're like this guy over here, and even if you step up on that tool and use that tool, you're pretty far from where you need to go. Even if you were to say, well, maybe I know how to use that tool in a different way, you're still quite a bit farther than where you need to be. And today, we're going to talk about setting up AI systems based on the fundamentals of business that will get you where you want to go. You see, it's not just about some fancy new tool or a platform like TikTok or anything like that. What it's about is building a system that is going to work for you. A plan of action with a tool stack using multiple tools where needed to get where you want to go. And that's why today we are going to cut out all the junk and talk about the things that get results. Traffic systems, conversion systems, websites, and the whole 9 yards. That way, you can set up an AI system that will work for you. Much like this guy over here, who can now get a lot closer to his goal. All by using a system. The staircase you climb always makes a difference in where you end up. And if you're trying to use the wrong staircase or tool, you're going to struggle. So today, we're going to line it up for you. I'm going to talk to you about these AI profit systems, how they work, the building blocks that make them work, how you can use them with side hustles or creating your own business, and how you can get started. This is about getting rid of info overload and understanding the fundamentals of business and where AI fits in. This is super important. So if you're tired of chasing every new tool the minute it comes out, and you want a staircase that's going to get you where you want to go, smash a like button. We're going to hop over to the live set, and I'm going to show you exactly how to set up an AI system to build a business online. Come on, let's get started. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show. Today what we're going to do is we're going to get back to the basics of systems and processes and how to use AI to actually build a business. This is something that's super important, something I think is overlooked a lot, and something I think is very much needed when it comes to the whole idea of actually making money online. This is something that's very important. So what we're going to do is we're going to look at what is the difference between using AI tools like ChatGPT or Gemini or Copilot or anything like that, and the difference between setting up a full process. Well, first of all, let's go ahead and define what we have going on here. This is super, super important. What is the difference? Well, a system is defined as a set of things working together as parts of a mechanism or interconnecting network. So it's like all these things working together. A lot of people think that a system is something more than it is, when really it's just a put together mechanism, okay? A process is a series of actions or steps taken in order to achieve a particular end. And a tool, such as an AI tool, is a device or implement, especially held in the hand, used to carry out a particular function. So when we go through and we look at this, we need to make sure that we're paying close attention, because all of these are going to fit in, and this is what's going to end info overload and help you understand how to start a real business with AI in a real-world way and understand where everything fits in. It's actually a lot more simple than you would think, and I think that breaking it down and looking at it in a specific way is very important. So going through and looking at this here, let me see where my pen is. Valeria, can you find my little pen, please? I think it's on my desk. What we're going to do is we're going to go through and we're going to look at exactly what's going on and where tools fit in and everything like that. So super important. Let's see where our pen went. Did you find it? Okay, let me see. We'll use the whiteboard over here. Let's do this here. All right, so what we'll do is we'll just use the giant one while we wait for that pen. And what we're going to do is we're going to look at where a tool, system, and process comes into play. Now, if we can organize everything into different parts where we're like, okay, what is a tool? A tool would be like ChatGPT, okay? Now, ChatGPT can do multiple different functions, whereas, something else will be like, oh, this is an audio function, or this is something else, very specific, okay? So when we look at this, we need to understand exactly where we're going and what we're doing, okay? Now, when we go through and look at this little spreadsheet I made here, when we look at AI Profit Systems, we have to understand where everything fits in a very, very specific way and where we're going to go with it, okay? So first of all, we can use AI for side hustles. A lot of people talk about this. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it. A lot of people talk about side hustles, okay? We're going to get into a list of side hustles and how AI can help you with side hustles. Building content. A lot of people talk about building content. AI is perfect at building content. It's a game changer. It helps in a very specific way. But again, we need to understand, what am I creating content for? These are different things we're going to get into. And once you understand where these are put together, it's going to make life a lot easier for you. And you're not going to spend a bunch of money on tools. I know, personally, I think if we were to add up all the AI tools that we spend on, I'm well into the $100,000 range over the years, and I'm probably at least a couple $1,000s a month in AI tools. Now, of course, I'm using those tools for the purpose of my business and testing and showing you, whereas a lot of people can say get by with maybe a $30 ChatGPT or a free Gemini or something like that. Understanding how to use the tool is more important than actually having the tool. More about that in just a minute. Also, we can look at using AI for follow-up, site building, data extraction, manipulation, and different things like that. Now, the easiest way to make this work, in my opinion, is going to be the GLF method. And I was actually shocked because I gave this little snapshot of my notebook into ChatGPT, and it understood what I meant by GLF. So how many of you guys reading this, you're like, oh, I don't get what it means. Somehow it nailed it. I don't know how, but it did, which is very important. Now, one of the things that we have to look at, if you're a beginner out there and you want to build a business online or make money or whatever it is, we have to understand for the purpose of. This is something we are going to look at, because if you don't have this ironed out, for the purpose of. What am I using this tool for? What am I building this stuff for? What am I going to do next? Now, going through and looking for the purpose of, we have to say, okay, am I a beginner? Am I doing this from scratch? Okay, if you're new and you're like, I want to build a business, I want to make some money, I want to do this stuff, where I would suggest starting, okay, and we're going to get into this more detailed in a minute, start with learning AI. Now, what do I mean? Do I mean you need to go out there and learn how AI works and learn AI and learn all the tools? No, not at all. What we're talking about is starting with learning AI. So what we want to do is we want to start with an AI tool that we can learn with, okay? A tool that helps us learn. One of my favorite tools that helps us learn is Notebook LM. A lot of people don't understand the power of Notebook LM, but if you were to give it a bunch of stuff, like over here, it'll actually help me learn in a closed environment. Like over here, we gave it a bunch of YouTube videos. It actually gives me a mind map. It generates all the content. It'll make an FAQ study guide, and it'll even generate a podcast episode up here, which is pretty cool. Now, am I going to use this stuff out of the gate? Is this going to change the way that I do things? Well, it could, but right now, what I would want you to do is start understanding how it works. Now, when you get your learning AI, we want to use it, again, for the purpose of. What are you going to learn? Well, this is going to come into your niche if you are building a business, or your skill if you're doing a side hustle. Side hustles are built on skills. Niches are built on, businesses are built on niches, okay? So starting to look at this and understand exactly what's going on is key. Now, I would say if you're going to start with learning, I would say Google is the key. Deep Research and Notebook LM. When you look at Google Deep Research, if you were to go to Gemini over here like this, you can go to Gemini and you can use Deep Research in a very specific way just by dropping down here. I believe Deep Research is on the free plan. I'm not positive, but I'm pretty sure it is. With Deep Research, what I can do is I can learn about any topic I want in a very narrow focus. So let's say, for example, I was going to go out there, and I'll pull up a list of some domains that we bought recently. Let's see here, auctions. I buy them at Auctions GoDaddy. You guys can see my videos on that. And some domains that I bought recently, you can go through and look at them and see what types of niches they are about. Now, if I pick one here, I just have to log in and get this for you. One moment. And what we're going to do is we're going to show you, okay, if I was starting with a niche, what would I do first? A lot of people think, oh, I need to go in and dive into this AI stuff, or I need to dive into getting a tool or getting content or whatever. I would say the best thing to do is to go through and learn about your market. Okay, so let's say I get one of the more recent ones, like this one. I got this one about passports, or I got one about web college search. Okay, so this was one that I got about college stuff for people that want to learn about, what do I need to do to be a nurse? What do I need to do to be a doctor? What do I need to do to be a truck driver? Different things of this nature, which is actually very simple type of content. So if I was going for something like this, what I'm going to do is look at what the niche is about. You could go to a keyword tool. You could type in something like a trigger word like qualifications of, a degree needed for, average pay of. Different things like this are going to give you an overview of things people search for. And I'll show you in just a minute how this works. I just want to pull up Ahrefs here, make sure there's nothing funny on it. And it looks good. Okay, so this one here was about how to become a doorman, market research director, and you can see some of these do have traffic, how to become a teacher, criminologist, border patrol agent requirements, different things like this, where we're seeing all the different careers that people want and the traffic therein. Now, we can also go back in time and look at, okay, yeah, this thing had some traffic, wasn't crazy big, but it's a good domain, it's a good starting point. So what I would want to do is I would want to start to ask AI, what's going on here? What is this niche about? Okay, so I would go through and say, please research the top popular jobs like truck, driver, professor, school teacher, ECT, or ETC rather, and the requirements needed. What this is going to do is it's actually going to go through and it's going to deep research the web and get you information that it wants, which is really cool. So I can go through, it's going to do step by step, and it's almost like having your own employee or AI agent going out there and doing research for you in a very, very specific way. It's very simple, okay? So going through and looking at that, what I would say do is start learning about your market. Start learning about what the people in your market actually want, what they're interested in, and what's going on. And you can see it's going to work doing all of this. I'm going to go ahead and open a new one just to show you two different markets so we can understand them in a different way. Another one I got was for tell me about, or let's do scan all the sites about learning ventriloquism and make a list of what I need, the struggles people have, how to do this for a living, and more. What this is going to do is it's going to tell me about my market. It's going to go out there. It's going to read Reddit. It's going to watch videos. You can see here it'll actually pop up some videos and things. And what's going to happen is it's going to go through and get you that information so you can learn about your market. Now, if I was in a market like, okay, let's say all the different career things, okay, that's easier content. Like, they're pretty much looking for, to be a truck driver, you need to know how to drive, X, Y, Z, you need this license. everything like that. Okay, so that's easy, quick content. Some others, like the ventriloquism one, this is more course-oriented, where it's like people looking for something specific, like how do I? Okay, so it's a bit bigger content, narrow niche, more money. This one, more broad, less money per person, but overall it's going to work. Now, as we go through and look at this, start learning about your market, start learning about a topic. If you're going to do this for side hustles, learn about the side hustle. Learn everything you can about content writing, copywriting, or whatever it is. We're going to get into a list in just a minute. We're going to show you the tools that you can use to start doing this. This is something that it takes learning. And that's why AI is really good, because it's going to learn. Now, the question is what info do I want and why? What do I want and why? If I'm doing a side hustle, I would want information on the side hustle, how to edit an image, how to do this, best AIs to do this, that, or another thing. And we want to have the ability to research. What I've found in my 25 years of doing make money online and businesses and affiliate marketing and everything like that, I have found that the ability to research is the one thing that sets me apart from people who struggle. I've talked to hundreds of people, thousands of people, maybe even close to, I don't know, probably tens of thousands of people over the years. And I found that the ones that struggle don't have the ability to research. This is where it comes in, and like, you think a course is going to be the be-all, end-all. A course can help, but if you don't have the ability to research, you're going to be on your own. Now, having the ability to research within AI is key, because what just happened is now you got like a 25-year head start where the AI will research for you. Now, let's get into the online side hustles. I'm going to show you what you could do, how it would work, the AI tools you could work with. Then I'm going to go in and I'm going to show you some businesses and how to set up processes with this AI. AI systems is where it's at, because what you're going to see is something very simple, okay? A side hustle is a one and done task, okay? What does that mean? You come to me, you pay me for something, I do it one, I'm done. Maybe I'm going to edit your speech, or I'm going to edit your website, or I'm going to create an image or a logo. One and done. One and done is getting replaced by AI faster than ever before. It's going away. Why? Because it's very easy to go to ChatGPT and say, make me a logo for this, make me a cartoon image for this, illustrate my book, do this, do that, okay? Understanding this is key, because one and done. Now, the AI process is, what do I do day to day? What does my business look like? How do I break it up to little tasks? And what AIs will either help me or do it for me? So one of your things could be researching the competition, looking at what's out there, then going through, taking that research, making it a title, then going through and making it an article, then going through and looking at SEO, see what kind of keywords you could rank for. All of these things are going to go through and change the way we do stuff. Now, again, when we're looking at this with online side hustles, here is a list. I will have this list available for you. Stay tuned. We'll tell you how to get it in a minute. First of all, one of the things you can do with AI is content writing. Right now, there are AI services making a fortune basically writing content for you. We worked with one several years ago, and they skyrocketed. It was Content at Scale, and I think they changed their name. Content at Scale was a service where you would come in, you'd put your keywords in, it would research, template it out, and build an article for you. So it's basically you put the article keyword in 15 minutes, you had content. Now, what was the downside? Well, back when I was using it, it was $40 per article written by AI. So if someone would pay $40 for an AI article, what would they pay for a human researched article? That's where I got to thinking, and I was like, well, wait a minute. What if I start my own human-based AI content writing business, which I have, and what if I had the human element, charged them the same amount, but actually had humans go do it the way that I want it done? Now, what's the difference here? What did Content at Scale have that other places didn't? they had a system. The system was, well, take keyword, understand keyword. Research other sites based on keyword. Template this out with title, headlines, bullet points, Johnson boxes with info, and an article of 3,000-ish words. So instead of you going to ChatGPT and saying, please look at this title, now go look at this, now write this, now add box here, this would do it all for you. And because of that, they made a lot of money. The last I heard, I think they were doing like $700,000 a month or something. Crazy business. Now, is it a big business? Yeah, it's huge. A lot of expenses, a lot of stuff. But looking at the system, can you do this in a smaller scale for something specific? Now, notice how we took that one side hustle of content writing, turned it into a system that we can use with AI. Can you go out there and do AI-assisted content writing and make a living? I think you probably could. You could do stuff on Fiverr. You could do stuff on your own business, whatever it is, right? Obviously, it's not guaranteed, but looking at that, it's a viable business you can do. Next one is copywriting, which is very similar to content writing. Copywriting is content writing for sales, writing sales letters, writing video scripts, writing things that you can use for copy. Now, I found that this is written by AI, but I'm using this as my guideline. I found that the best AI copywriter is a toss-up between DeepSeek and Claude. DeepSeek and Claude, for whatever reason, just get it. So if you're going to do sales copy or banner ads or titles or whatever, those two are by far the best. Now, another thing you can do is editing and proofreading. You can go to Fiverr. You can look at these all day long. There's people out there making money with this. You can sell your services on your own. Just set up shop and get people to them. Ghostwriting, where you're writing a book. This is what people do when they're doing faceless books or AI-created books or something like that. Translation, script writing, ebook writing. This is one we're going to get into, so keep a note of that. Programming and coding. This is something that up until now, you had to have a big degree to be able to do this, and it was crazy. It was difficult. Now we can do this on the fly, even without programming skills, which, if you guys know me, if my programmer is watching, you probably know that I'm terrible at programming. I know enough to get by. My employee here, Alina, has probably surpassed me in like 6 months of learning programming. Now she's over there doing databases. I'm like, wait, what is that? So it's not super hard to learn, and she had the head start of being able to learn with AI. It wasn't super difficult. I mean, there were some things that had a learning curve, but being able to stick to it and just say, hey, I'm going to learn this, and when I get stuck, I'm going to ask AI, and I'm going to be able to tinker with it till it works, right? A lot of people are not the tinkering type. I think that is a plus in this business because it's paving the way, and it's new as it emerges. Like back when I started in 1999, SEO was new. People didn't talk about it. They didn't know about it. And we kind of had to learn as we went. We're like, oh, hey, put this up. Oh, well, why did that rank? Why did this not rank? Why does this work? Why doesn't that work? So it was kind of something you had to forge ahead. With programming coding with AI, it is literally getting more powerful by the minute. I mean, there's a new tool, there's a new thing, it gets smarter, it gets faster by the minute, and being able to know how to program, code, and test is something you can do where before you needed a degree. Now it's something you can kind of tinker with and do on the fly. Web development, probably wouldn't do that one unless you do have a degree. App development, that's one thing you can do with no-code tools like Bolt AI, Bolt New, Lovable, different things like that. Tech support, one of the cool things here is there are huge businesses that are built around WordPress tech support. I'm going to go through, let me go to ChatGPT, and I'm going to ask it about this. Let's say, what are some big WordPress tech support businesses and their earnings? Now, again, this is AI, so we'd have to check up on it, but it'll give us an idea, because I know there's a couple out there. There was a big WordPress feud a couple of months ago, and it's still going on today, where I think it's Automatic, was that the one? One of them. So Automattic, the parent company of WordPress.com, so that is the WordPress, revenue is reported at $710 million. WP Engine, I think that's the one that's having trouble with them. That one's at $400 million. There's another one. There's a lot of smaller ones too in the 100,000 range. There's one that's 18 million, Flywheel, something like that. But looking at this, you could go and you can use AI to do troubleshooting on WordPress, where all you need is a basic understanding of it. If you could go through and just work with WordPress, go get a WordPress site and deliberately try to mess it up so that you learn, right? Oh, why did that work? Why did the table not work here? How do I get this to work? Something very simple that you can build. And again, all of these are going to come full circle. If you're not interested in doing a side hustle and you want to build a business, stay tuned, because these are the skills. I'm going to show you how to put them together and build a business. Next up, we have automation and scripting, where you can go through and you can do an automation, where it's like, oh, hey, when someone signs up for a dental appointment, take that lead, send them an email, and also tell my assistant to send them some toothpaste or whatever, right? Something like that, where it's very specific that you can do for other businesses that a lot of people don't know. I was actually at my dentist a couple weeks ago, and they were using this new AI system, and I think it was like an insane amount of money, even though, like, dentists make a good bit. It's like $500 a tooth or something to get fixed. But, it was still something that was big for them. And I had asked them about it, and they're like, we're not really happy with it. And that was the biggest one on the market. Knowing how to get into these gaps is how you're going to start and scale. If you have a niche or an idea or a product, starting small and scaling. We're going to talk in just a minute about what that GLF is. Super important. This is the building blocks of any niche, any business, even side hustles if you want to bring people in and sell your own stuff, which would be kind of a business. Like if you're doing it on Fiverr, it would be more of a side hustle. If you're doing it on your own website, it'd be more of a business. You're keeping the clients and the customers, and you're building it up as you go along. That's the difference between these. Very important. Going through and looking at graphic design, we saw last week Canva came out with their image understander and creator, which is absolutely insane. They even have internal knowledge that they're adding in here as well, which is crazy. So going through and looking at that, you can make all kinds of different things in there. I think I had one of the images I was going through in here, and I'll show you those in just a minute, but we're getting to the point where ChatGPT can pretty much do a lot of things that Fiverr people would do. It'll go out there and it will look at your content, it'll look at your image, it'll look at all your stuff, it'll make it work, boom, change it, whatever. We also have video editing. This is getting much easier with AI. We see tools out there that'll take a big video like this, chop it into small videos, and throw it all over Twitter or whatever it is to get more views. A lot of people use this for podcasts. We had a video a while ago we did where we talked about the side hustle of making content from podcasts with AI. Just yesterday, Valeria was over there. She did a notes from one of my podcasts or videos, and we broke it up into various different things to find quotes that we could make images of to put on social media. This is the kind of thing that you can do for businesses, and like for me, I don't want to go do that. I don't have the time to do that, and having that automated is a key. Years ago, when I was first starting teaching, it was like a bootstrap business. We started it up. I would do a teaching, a training. I would upload it after. I would send the thing after. I'd convert it, put it on the site, all of this stuff. Now I have an outsourcer that does that for me, and it's nice to not have to upload a webinar for our AI Profit Scoop every time I do the webinar. I just go home. Next morning, it's up there as if by magic, all nice and formatted. Now, these are the things that AI is going to start to be able to do, where you can set up processes which will run your business. Another one is animation, motion graphics. Talked about this in my video I put out earlier today. If you did not watch that video, as soon as this one is done, go watch the video. It is right here. This one called Info Overload, right here. Right here, this one. Okay, go watch that after this is done. Very important. You're going to see where we are taking the direction of this channel, what kind of videos we're doing, and where you can get some of our archives and everything like that. So looking at that, Going through animation, what I talked about in that video was the influx of people doing YouTube automation, as it were, where a lot of times it's not that great of content, but it's actually doing really well. It's performing really well. And if you've ever seen a video on social media that you're like, I don't get it, that don't make sense to me, and it does well, there's something to learn about that in terms of marketing. Is that to say go use AI to create junk just for the sake of putting junk online? No. If that's what you're thinking, go watch my video from earlier today. UX and UI design, like user interface design. We're actually using AI to create the new Simple Sites program right now, which is really cool. Digital art and printables, going through and making printables, forms, planners, things like that. Very key. Again, pay attention, all 33 of these are going to fit into making a business. Now, some of them you'll use, some of them you won't. Some of them you'll go in and be like, yes, I want that. No, I don't want that. And if you're enjoying this video, let me know what you think as a comment below and by smashing the like button. Also going through, we have digital art printables, social media management. I remember a couple years ago, Ty Lopez was saying, you need to be a social media manager, and he sold like a bazillion copies here in his garage of social media management stuff. And it was a course about how to do social media management. Now AI can do that. Ergo, if you could set that up where your AI would manage someone's social media with very little oversight, boom, now you have a business. SEO services, can you do this? Can you set it up? Now, I've tried tools like Surfer SEO and different things like that. I'm not a big fan. SEO to me is two things, and well, three things. I'm gonna add another third thing in there. SEO is about having the right domain or backlinks, having the right keyword, and having good content. Nail those three, you win. You will win. If you have the right keyword, you can rank. I always told people years ago when I first started teaching, what are the odds of me ranking top 10 if there's only 9 sites on the first page of Google? Well, it's pretty much 100%. Like if I have a site and there's only 9, I will be there. So SEO services is something big. It's a huge market, multi-billion-dollar market. Affiliate marketing, where you can go through and do strategies and things like that. Affiliate marketing is going to be more of a business. Some people think it's a side hustle. I think it's more of a business. Drop shipping, again, that's a business model. Email marketing, this is something you can do as a side hustle for other businesses or yourself. Ad campaign management, this is stuff where we're seeing big companies that are doing AI ad tracking, where you could literally track, oh, these types of customers convert better than these types. A guy on Facebook at 8 a.m. is more likely to buy than someone at 10 p.m. who's in Ohio or whatever it is. And it'll literally pinpoint, so you could be like, well, my perfect customers are over here in Ohio at 9 p.m. Boom, there we go, right? Very simple. We used to do this stuff manually back in the day, and it was expensive because you had to pay for the whole day to figure out which hour was the best converting. And you couldn't leave your computer for the day. You had to watch it. Now AI is doing that for us. Online tutoring, this one, not so much. I mean, this would be like course creating, career coaching, resumes, different things like that can be made with AI, business coaching, fitness coaching, life coaching. Not sure I'm ready to have AI life coach me yet, but to each his own. Print on demand, stock photography, creating stock photos and video. A lot of people miss the boat on that. Like you could create stock photography or video with AI for a specific purpose. Maybe backgrounds for YouTubers, maybe backgrounds for people that are on Zoom. And if you go out there and you look at Zoom backgrounds, those do get a lot of traffic. Let me pull this up here. I'll just show you what I'm talking about. Hopefully there's nothing weird in there. Zoom backgrounds. Right, like this. Yeah, I mean, Zoom backgrounds is 76,000 searches a month. You know all these people use Zoom either for their business or their job. That's a lot of people. You got funny Zoom backgrounds, free, virtual. That's something you can do in a very specific way, right? Where it's like, okay, all I'm going to do is make Zoom backgrounds. You could do it as a side hustle and sell them on, whatever you want to sell them on, some kind of platform or whatever. If it was me, I'd use my own website with PayPal. Going through, looking at course creation, this is a big one. A lot of people are creating courses. That's why I said in the beginning, the first step is the ability to research and learn with the AI. If you can learn this skill you should be able to do pretty well. YouTube automation, a lot of people talk about this with InVideo, Pictory, and things like that. I'm not a fan. I would rather put more time and energy, which you guys know here on the channel. I put a lot of time and energy into the creativeness and the honesty and authenticity of my videos where, I go through and I say something and then I talk about where did that come from? Where did that screenshot come from? Where did that idea come from? How do we back it up? How do we look at it in a real world way? And what can we expect? Also, blogging and niche sites is a big thing that AI is taking over right now. And these are all things that AI is literally taking over and we can use. Right? So if you're going to be a career coach, before having like 5 customers without AI would be 10 full-time jobs. Now it's something that can be done a lot easier. Now, let's talk about all these and where they fit in, because a lot of these are going to be grouped into certain places. And then when we get into our guide over here, we are going to start to see where the building blocks are. And let me see if I can pull this up. I think I can. Let's see. Snagit. I'm just going to get a screenshot here, and then hopefully it'll fit on my diagram. Make this a little bigger. A little bit more bigger. Come on now. There we go. Cool. So now we see this here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this on our note page so that we can group these for you. Because if you can understand where the grouping is and what to do if you're going to build a business, because most people are getting this stuff because they are going to run a business, okay? Like someone who wants YouTube automation, if you're the side hustle person doing it for them, they are doing it because they want a business. So what we'll do is we'll just go through and we're going to put a B by all the stuff that would be business related. Ghostwriting, maybe not so much. We'll stick with ebook writing for that. Translation, not so much. Script writing, I mean, that's going to be in video creation. So ebook writing, yes, that would work. Programming, yes, that would work for business. Web development, that's a little highbrow. App development, maybe. Tech support, that could be if you're running a tech support business, yes. Automation, scripting, graphic design. So a lot of these are business related. Digital art, this is all business. SEO business. Affiliate marketing, that's a business strategy. Drop shipping, e-com. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to go through and we're going to look at the stuff that AI is going to help with that has to do with the business. Because if I learn these skills, and this is one of the things a lot of people overlook. They think the difference between side hustles and businesses is like this big cave of like, that guy's a business owner, these people are just side hustlers. Well, the way that I started my business is with a side hustle. I started by going to local limousine companies and offering them SEO services and helping them build their business. And along the way, they were like, hey, I want a fancy limo shot that comes on right when they enter the page. I hired a friend of mine to make a little flash image. Back then we used Flash for everything, and it worked really well. Paid him a couple $100, got some SEO stuff, charged $3,000 for the site, pocketed like, I don't know, $2,500 at the end of the day, and it wasn't a whole lot of work. And understanding that these things fit in and we can piece them together is how you are going to start with a side hustle or a mini site and turn it into a business. Very important. How many of you guys, by show of hands, type in the box, how many of you guys want a side hustle versus want a business? Okay, how many of you guys want a side hustle versus business? Think different. If you're looking for that, you could just go to AIProfitScoop.com. We have all the information there. Okay? So how many of you guys want side hustle? Type it in the box. How many of you guys want business? Type that in the box. And then what we're going to do is we're going to look at where these are, because business building has to do with a very specific thing, a very specific system. This is where you are going to set up your AI system. This is why I said in the beginning, the best thing to do is figure out your market first. Figure out what you're doing first. If I'm going into that market, which is about the ventriloquism or the other one, which was about job requirements. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to start to understand this stuff. I'm going to dive in as if I'm a customer, and I'm going to say, okay, well, what would this be like? What kind of content would I want? What kind of structure do these people need? How are we going to build it? here's the one for ventriloquism. So starting the ventriloquism one, can I take this and turn it into an actual business? Well, what we'd want to do is look and see, okay, is there the amount available in this niche to actually turn a business profit? Okay, we did a video yesterday in AI Profit Scoop. The entire video was about how to evaluate the profitability of a niche. It was a detailed video. I went through, we showed sites, we showed domains, we showed examples, we showed literally everything, which was really cool. So what we'd want to do is we'd want to go to the keyword tool first, ventriloquism, and type this in and see what it looks like. I think I spelled it correctly here. So you have ventriloquism and ventriloquist, and you could see, yes, there's like 6,500 searches a month, 2,700 in the US. That's primarily going to be where your sales are going to come from on something like this. AI tools, you probably will be more worldwide. This is probably going to be English-speaking places mostly, okay? Now going through, looking at ventriloquism, I want to say, okay, become a ventriloquist. So ventriloquist is 20,000 searches a month. Now, I would venture, like most of those people aren't just looking up Jeff Dunham. They're probably looking up how to be a ventriloquist. And the way that you could do that is just by looking at the keyword, go into the other stuff here, and you could see exactly, okay, these people are looking to buy the thing, these people are looking for the funny videos, and on we go. So looking at that, I could say, okay, there is some commercial intent. If I had all of that traffic, how much could I make? Could I make, a good amount with that? You have to go through and look at it, look at the other sites, see what the other sites are doing. And as you're going through, learn about your market. Now, in just a minute, I'm going to show you a very cut and dry 3-step process to going in and learning about a market literally fast. This is something I did years ago when I first started teaching affiliate marketing. Now, I have been doing affiliate marketing and online business since 1999. In 2008, I started teaching. I think it was 2007 or 8, somewhere around there. 2007 or 2008, I started teaching. I actually started teaching by accident when a buddy of mine called me up and he's like, hey, the guy who was supposed to do a teleseminar is gone. We got 500 people waiting. Can you hop on and teach them about affiliate marketing? I'm like, sure, buddy, let's do it. So I went in there and I was on the teleseminar. We didn't have webinars back then. And I shared my stuff. And at the end, he's like, so where do we go to buy your stuff? And I was like, Harris, I buy stuff? What are you talking about? He's like, well, at the end of a webinar or teleseminar, you're supposed to sell stuff. I'm like, okay. So I went and I created a PayPal button, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to create a video on how to do affiliate marketing. And that was the Simple Sites video, which you could find lurking around there somewhere. It has been uploaded. It's not the greatest resolution. I don't look my age back then. I was pretty small. And going through and looking at that, it did really well. Now, the way that I built this business is very simple. I got traffic. You're going to need traffic to build anything, okay? Even on a side hustle. Well, you need traffic on Fiverr. Okay, a lot of people miss that because Fiverr has its own traffic and they're giving it to you, but that is your traffic method. For me, what I did is I used paid ads. I went out there and bought some traffic. I put them to a page that said, hey, I'll give you this video and it'll teach you how to do affiliate marketing or whatever it is. Now, after they opted in, put their name and email for the video, I did something very important, which we're going to get into in just a minute. So now, going back, looking at the ventriloquism stuff, this is how I would learn about my market. Spend more time learning about your market than you do making content, and you will do good. Most people are so focused on just writing and pumping out content and getting SEO content, they forget that there's someone reading it. They forget that there's people watching it because they're just all about ad revenue. That's all they care about. Ads, ads, ads. And a lot of people miss out on a lot of money because they are focusing on quick ad revenue. So going through, looking at this, it even went through and told me like the top struggles people have with the different words and things like that. And then you can even go through and say, what kinds of products do these people buy? And then you could say, list some famous ones or whatever it is, and start to learn about your market. Using Gemini Deep Research and Notebook LM to learn about your market will help you become more valuable. What we want to do is we want to be more valuable. On a personal note, looking at where I'm at in business, there's times in business where I've had a struggle, a change, a different direction. And I always freak out because I have one of those brains that always freaks out about everything. I remember, when my dad was sick, I would get something, I'd be like, oh, that's the end. I got something here, I'm just like him, or whatever, right? And I would always go into panic mode. But one of the things I always look at is I have knowledge that I have learned and experience that I've gotten that is worth money. That is a fact. It is worth money, just like you. If you're out there and you're like, well, you know what? I know how to do inventory for Amazon. Okay, well, that's something Amazon's willing to pay you for. Or I know how to research a topic. That's something people that need research will pay for. I know how to program a WordPress plugin. That's something WordPress developers would be interested in. What you learn is what's going to make you more valuable in the marketplace. If you increase your value, even if it's something simple, there's two ways to do this. We either increase our value a lot to a little group of people. Here's our people. Looks more like a cookie, but it's people, right? Or we increase our value a little, maybe a tip, a hack, something simple, to a lot of people, okay? Very important. These are the two ways to make it work. If you have something simple, like I know how to use AI to make an article, yeah, you and everyone else. So that you're going to need a lot of people and you're going to make a little bit of money on a lot of people. But hey, if you get 20,000 orders a month, yeah, you're going to be pretty busy, but that would work itself out. Or if I become the best person to teach marketing to ventriloquists so they can build a business, boom, now that works. That's something I looked at years ago. Funny enough, in this market, there was a guy named Dave D. Dave D now works for the Glazier Kennedys, I think, Glazier Kennedy business. And I called him. He was in the Magic magazine. And I'm like, hey, I'm going to give this guy a call. He says he's going to help me get more bookings. So I called him up, and I'm like, I want to get more bookings. What do you got? And he's like, well, can you buy my course? And I'm like, I'm broke. And he's like, okay. Change your ad. And I learned about that, and what he did is he built an entire business for years teaching magicians how to get more business. Very specific, very valuable skill to a small number of people. But if you listen to Dan Kennedy, who is that guy's mentor, you break it into other things. Can I do that for clowns? Can I do that for, I don't know, what other performers are there? Bouncy houses or whatever. Very simple. And you start to understand that. And you're like, wait a minute. So I can become more valuable with the use of AI. Instead of spinning a bunch of content out there, which can be short-lived. Like as soon as the AI is smart enough to detect all the AI, which don't think for 1 minute these big companies don't have AI that is smarter than the AI you use. It is. Then that's over. Now, looking at this and understanding our niche, then we do our business model. A lot of people are like, I'm going to do a business. I'm going to do drop shipping. I'm like, no. Pick your niche first, because it might not be a drop shipping niche, right? Oh, I want to do Shopify. Well, pick your niche first. What are you going to Shopify? That's like, I'm going to get 92 gas at the gas station. Well, do you have a car? No. Well, then what are you going to do with all that gas? You ain't going to do nothing. Well, I heard that gas makes your car go. It does, but you need a car to make it go. A lot of people are putting the cart before the horse. If you want to build a business, pick your market first, whether it's ventriloquism marketing, whether it's programs to help your computer run smoother, whether it's this, that, or the other. Starting to understand it's our niche first. And I'm not talking a niche like weight loss or moods or something like that. I'm talking something specific. Right? Something specific. So now I'm going to go through, I'm going to be like, okay, ventriloquism. All right, is there one type of dummy that all the ventriloquists buy? If the answer is yes, then I'm going to do drop shipping and I'm going to drop ship that thing because I'll get more. If not, I'll do something else. So pick your niche first, then choose your business model. Okay, sometimes affiliate marketing might be the best business model for your niche or traffic. Sometimes it'll be a service, sometimes a product, sometimes software as a service. And all of these, as we mentioned earlier, can be set up with AI. This is where you get into it, but only after. I can't tell you how many people come to me and they're like, Marcus, I got ClickFunnels. Okay, cool, what are you selling? I don't know, I just want to make money. Well, why would you buy ClickFunnels if you don't have something to sell? That's a selling product. A lot of people have AI tools, they don't know what they want to do with them. They just heard they're cool, and it's not that, it's just draining your pocketbook. Now, going through, next we're going to do domain name and hosting. Okay, so we'll go get domain and hosting. We'll have some links to show you where to get that later. Then you set up a website landing page. All of this can be done with AI. I could go to DeepSeek and I could say, make me a landing page for a ventriloquism product. Make me a landing page for a course on how to be a successful ventriloquist. Okay, and this will actually go through. And one of the cool things about this is if I have these tabs open, a lot of you guys know I have a lot of tabs open all the time. If I have a lot of tabs open, and I'm like, okay, check it out. I can be learning over here in Notebook LM. I could be learning over here in Gemini about my niche. And DeepSeek is also, we'll type HTML so we get a HTML version. DeepSeek is also going to structure it in a way that I can visualize it. Right? Because a lot of people don't realize, they're just making content. Before I build a website, before I go into a niche, I have a mental vision of what the site would look like. What would they click on? What would it be like? I remember when I first came up with the Simple Sites course. I'll show you what it looks like. We're actually redoing it right now. It's going to be the 25th anniversary edition since I've been doing this business for, well, all of my businesses for 25 years. I want to show you what it looks like so you can visualize it. This is why we make it the way we do. Let's see if I can find it here. Log in. There we go. So it looks like this. And basically, it's a dashboard that people go in and they're like, oh, hey, I'm going to start here. I got this, I got that. And it's got like lesson plans and it's got tools, all kinds of things that you can use. Very cool. I had a visual of what I wanted it to look like. Same thing with your site. What would it look like in terms of ventriloquism? Okay, getting started, choosing the right dummy, marketing, getting your first gig, structuring your story, or whatever it is. These are the things that I would think. Now, luckily, I was in the magician business, which is similar, but let's see how DeepSeek did. Okay, so they have this. Let's do HTML. We should be able to run it. There we go. Master the art of ventriloquism, learn to throw your voice and captivate. Enroll now. Lip control mastery, character development, voice production. Meet your instructor, choose your plan. So it's okay. It gives us a little visual of what it would look like. Let's say more on the business side, okay? And it'll go through and it'll do all that for us. You can use other tools as well. I find that Claude's very good at this. ChatGPT is pretty good as well if you give it an HTML task or something like that. But again, visualizing your market. Now, if you struggle with this or DeepSeek does not do what you want, combine your tools. This is where a system comes in. System comes in where we're going through and we're like, okay, let's get the tool stack and the system. Okay, so now I'm looking at it and I'm like, okay, AI tool, yay, I can use DeepSeek, woohoo, and it'll make me an HTML page. Okay, all I got is realistically a pretty crappy HTML page. Like this is something, like if someone charged me for this, I'd be like, no, it ain't gonna work. Amor says, I just get nervous to get started and can't afford to buy backlinks or a domain. Well, what I would do, and again, I'm gonna show you something at the end that's very basic. It's something that you can test fast. Okay, I don't know if it'll get your results fast, but it'll test fast. It'll go through and you'll get feedback. What this is about is feedback. Why do I want a page with all these links? So that I could see what they click. Okay, see what they click. That was the thing that I talked about earlier where people put their name and email and they went to that magic thing. I'm going to show you that in a minute, and we can set it up with AI or some other thing. And if you can't afford web hosting or anything, you can do this a different way. Like social media allows you to interact and things like that where people are using that. Obviously use it ethically. So going through here, now we have this. So build a 6-figure ventriloquism business, master performance, live shows, digital products. Okay, so it's pretty good. It did okay. Of course, they picked the 1997. That's a popular price in the old business thing. But looking at that would be really cool. I had a friend who did this with makeup. She did really, really well. She had a makeup course that taught makeup artists how to do weddings on the weekends as a side hustle. She was crushing it. She did really well on them on her own, and she taught it, which was really good. So what we're going to do next is branding, logo, name, colors, voice, whatever. Okay, so I would do make a logo for ventriloquism marketing, like more gigs or something. And it'll go through and it'll actually make a logo. Now, I did realize that ChatGPT, now that everyone and their brother is using it for images, it's gotten really slow, annoyingly slow, so much that I go to other programs to create my images. As you can see, it's basically just crawling, but it'll actually go through and make that for you. You can make the logo, the name, the colors. A lot of people spend a lot of time on logos. The AI Profit Scoop logo, we took 5 minutes in AI. It spit it out. It's fine. Everyone seems to like it. Nobody really remembers it unless you're putting it on the side of 1,000 different shoes every day. Is not really going to matter, okay? Also going through, looking at content creation, right? How can I create content? So now I could go through and say, okay, cool. Okay, great. Now make a advertorial type page on how they can get more shows. Detailed, good info report. And this will go through and it'll do that, okay? Very cool. Now, as we're going through and doing this, we can also use it for traffic generation. What does that mean? Is AI going to go and get you traffic? Is it going to drive people to your website? No. Your content you make with AI will, okay? Eventually, when we get AI agents, they will probably get traffic, but they'll probably keep it for themselves. But until then, we can make traffic with SEO, social media, ads, email, different things like this. I'm going to show you something very important, which hinges on number 8. If you are struggling and you are new and you want to get some kind of results, you're just like, I want something, right? Throw me a bone here. What I would do, if it was me, is I would focus on email list building and lead magnets. Okay, if you have no money, it's going to be a little tougher. What I would do if you have 0 money to start is I would build a following instead of a list. What's the difference? Well, here on YouTube, when I go live, there's a certain amount of people waiting regardless of when I go live. It's basically push content, goes out to the people who follow you. Now, it goes out to a small fraction, but it's about the same as what you'd get. Like if I had a, 8,000 person active list, you probably get 500 people at any time clicking. If I had 500,000, bigger list, less people clicking, but get 1,000 or so. On a following, this would be like Facebook, all right? Can you get a following on Facebook? I was reading a report recently of a guy who was on Facebook using only helpful text, and he literally built like 1 million following. Insane amounts of following, and I think one of the cameras like zoomed in on me. Zoom out, camera. All right, I don't know. We'll leave that one alone. But going through and looking at, you're going to do a following. If you can build a following, this is like a mailing list that you don't have to pay for. You don't even need a website. You could go through, build that following up. Now, the problem is people go to Facebook and they're like, oh, hey, I'm going to have AI write an ad, and I'm going to post an ad on Facebook. Nobody went on Facebook to read ads. Repeat it. Nobody went on Facebook to read ads. The only guy who does that is me, because this is what I do for a living, so I'm always looking at ads. But nobody does that. What they want is information, helpful stuff, interesting stuff, updates on people. That's why they're on Facebook. So what you need to do is you need to have stuff they want. Share the stuff they want, and then eventually they will look at you as trustworthy. Like here, I teach things. People are like, well, Marcus seems to know what he's talking about. Yeah, I think I want to work with him. Right? It's subtle. You don't have to do anything. I don't have to sell. I just come on here, I show my stuff. Again, remember in the beginning, this could be something very simple that you do for a lot of people. Like, oh, hey, here's some AI tips. Okay? Or something really big. Like I've learned a lot about internet business for a few people. Okay, so I could write a simple guide with AI and make like, oh, here's how to start a business. Okay, I could do that. But again, that's going to be for a lot of people. Now, what you're also going to do is you're going to cast a net. You're going to get a lot of people into little stuff. This is where funnels come in, right? People talk about funnels, and this is all stuff that you can do with AI. How do I do a funnel? Well, if I wanted to build a list, what could I do to help people? There we go. That's pretty cool. I actually kind of like that logo. Is anyone else digging this logo? Does anyone else think it looks surprisingly like me? But at any rate, we go through and we look at that. Now, when we go through, it's going to create this little guide, which is cool. This is a helpful thing. So literally, I could go on Facebook and I can advertise to people who are ventriloquists, and I can give them tips every day and talk to them about ideas or places they could advertise or different things like that. Or maybe you're interested in AI tools, and I share a new AI tool every day. And I'm like, oh, check it out. Today this came out. Today this came out. Yesterday this came out. And you talk about it. Okay? Or maybe you're in financial stuff. There's people that talk about finance stuff every day. Why does it make money? Because finance stuff pays really, really well. And what you're going to do is you're going to get a small group of the people that are going to want what you have. Very simple. Now, that's where we come into email list building and lead magnets. I'm going to go ahead right now, and I'm going to scroll up to where we had our acronym, which is GLF. Okay? If you guys are writing this down, write a big G, a big L, and a big F. Okay? What does that stand for? Well, let's talk about that. Down here, the flow model of GLF is 1, get attention, or generate traffic. You need to get people to see something, otherwise they ain't going to see it. Okay? If they don't see it, we're not going to make any money. If you make the greatest video in the world and you never publish it, I have a pretty good video that's been in the can for like 2 years. I'm going to try to release it later. It's really cool. We like turned in my backyard into like this crazy fun stuff. It was really cool. But at any rate, if you want to see that video, smash the like button and maybe I'll finish it next week. So going through GLF, we need to get attention. Okay, so how am I going to get attention? Well, I'll find some helpful things. Helpful content, structured differently. A lot of people don't search the web. A lot of people do. But the people who don't might have something in their mind that they see on Facebook or YouTube or whatever it is, and you're going to get them. Right, by saying, oh, here's this new tool, here's this new idea, here's this new thing that happened in the stock market, here's this new whatever it is, here's this new tip for getting more ventriloquism clients or whatever, right? Very simple. Then what we're going to do, the L is leads. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to build, this is what we do in our high-ticket niche program, build a lead magnet giveaway, a book, a guide, a template, a form, something like that that's very, very simple, okay? Something that's helpful. I want to pack it with stuff that at the end, they're like, hey, I think I want to watch that Marcus guy more. He taught me something, okay? So we're going to make that giveaway, okay? Then we are going to follow up. A lot of people say the fortune is in the follow-up, okay? Think about it this way. The average, this is very liberal, and I'll disclaimer it. The average conversion rate of a product online, disclaimer, with the right traffic. So like, you can't just go put a banner on Yahoo and expect it to get a 1% conversion. It needs to be the right traffic. So going through and saying the average conversion rate is 1%, that means if you're average, 99% of the people who visit your website never buy anything. Now, I know that most websites are below average because they're getting the wrong traffic. They get all kinds of traffic from all over the place. John says, is it worth it to build a content site? 1,000%. I think that's one of the best businesses you can get into, and it's a good way. Content rules. It's great. So 99% didn't do anything. They're out there and they're like, okay, well, what are we going to do with them? We'll follow up with them. Follow up. Follow up. Do what you got to do. Help them. If you focus on helping people first, you're going to go a lot farther. If you focus on, oh my gosh, I need to make a sale, you're going to struggle. Sales is about helping people. A lot of people think it's standing there and trying to get a guy to pay more for something he doesn't want. That is not sales. That's something else, but it ain't sales, right? Sales is about helping. My dad taught me this. He's like, you know what? People come in, I'm a realtor, they want help. Even if I don't have the house, I'm going to find them a solution. If they don't have the money, I'll find them a lender. If they don't have this, I'll find them that. Very cool. And he's like, hey, I'm going to get paid either way. I find a way to get paid no matter what I help them with, as long as it's ethical and as long as it's good. Now, if you can have this outlook where you're like, hey, I just want to help people. That's what I want to do. A lot of people come to me. They're like, Marcus, I don't know what niche I want to be in, but I want to help people. Find a niche that works really good, okay? So now we look at that and we're like, okay, I can help them with my giveaway. Because if I can get a mailing list, or if you don't have money to start a mailing list, a following. If I can get a following of people that like something, or a mailing list of people that like something, I have generated money, in a sense. Obviously, results not typical, implied, or guaranteed. The average person trying to make money online makes zero, and some people even lose money. However, looking at this, if I have an audience that is monetizable, then I can monetize it. Now, if you have people watching cats go fall asleep, yeah, you're probably going to get like 0.000000001 cent per view if you're lucky, okay? But if I have people that are interested in what's going on with the mortgage rates, that's pretty cool. Or Michael says, what about the retirement niche? Well, what I would do is start small, okay? Start small. Find one segment of the retirement niche that you can serve. Maybe people that don't have an IRA. Maybe they're relying on the government. Or maybe people that do have an IRA. Or maybe people that have money in their house and they want to use it. Starting to look at this and say, hey, wait a minute. This is pretty specific. So all I need to do is find those people, because the internet's a big place. There are people out there that probably make houses for marbles. They're probably like, yeah, we have a marble house or whatever it is, right? There's people that do all kinds of random stuff. And there's a lot of people that might be retired that want to tap their equity, or maybe want to learn how to live in existence or something like that. Find one segment of the market. This is where people struggle. They're like, I am in the health niche. Really? Really? Like, if you went to your doctor and you're like, are you a health doctor? He'd be like, no, I'm a foot doctor. I went to school just for the feet. That's why I get paid, right? It's very specific. Help a very specific part of your niche and help them really, 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 really well. Mortgage, again, that's more of a market, not so much a niche. A niche would be, how do I write a hardship letter for a mortgage? Or perhaps something like, how do I refi if I have bad credit now? Or something like that, very specific. Or you could look at your keywords. And this is where we go into the keyword stuff, which is very, very, very important. We talk about this every Tuesday in AI Profit Scoop, and we always go over niches there. I could cover a lot more there, which is cool, but I'll give you a little taste of what that's like. So if I was to go mortgages, I would go through and I would do like underwriting timeline, okay? So watch how easy this is. So now we have underwriting timeline, okay? Underwriting timeline, 150 people a month. What does that mean? There's probably more, like there's underwriting process, 5,600 a month. So I'm thinking there's more there, underwriting, underwriter. So there's quite a few, which means that at any given day, there's probably quite a few people that are watching videos or on Facebook that are going through underwriting. And if you go through and you ask it how many mortgages are done every day, you would look at that. And Amor says, perfect, I used to be an underwriter. Great. So here's what you do. You take your knowledge from being an underwriter and you say, okay, I'm going to map it out. This is where ChatGPT excels. So here's what you do. You go to lunch one day, or you sit there while you're watching TV, and you get an old notebook. All right, a lot of people don't remember these, but notebooks and pencils, That's what we used back when I was growing up, right? There's our pencil. And you get your notebook and you get your pencil and you map it out. You say, okay, well, what does it look like? Well, day one, they get document 1, 2, 3, and your bank stuff. Okay, day 2, it goes to the junior underwriter, and a lot of these things work like this. It's crazy. It goes to like 9 million people. And then you're like, okay, number 3, they're going to ask you for feedback on your docs. Number 4, they're going to do this. Not only that, but here are the 9 things they are going to look for. These are flags. Actually, this happened to me years ago when we were moving here to Florida. I was doing underwriting, and the guy couldn't close the deal. We had bought the house. We would have lost our deposit at that point, and so I had to go look at other things. Luckily, I found out it was one box that wasn't checked. And I was like, hey, dude, just one thing. Look, fix this here. We're done. Almost lost a house over it. That would have been the second one I lost, right? But going through and doing that was helpful. And I didn't know because I don't speak underwriter. I don't understand that stuff. So what you would do is you'd write it out, then take your drawing, upload it to ChatGPT, have it make it fancy and nice. Then go through and think about what they want. This is where it comes into visualizing. Okay, so they're in the process of getting a loan. What would help them? They're getting jittery. Maybe a backup loan. Maybe, okay, apply for a backup loan. Maybe that would help, or whatever it is. I'm not a mortgage person. You would do that. Then you go through and you're like, okay, here's all the things you need. So come with these documents. After you submit these, have these ready. Then make sure you have this. And along the way, you're finding things where you can get paid in the process. Maybe an affiliate link. Maybe they check their credit and you get an affiliate for that. Or maybe they do this, that, or the other. Very simple, okay? And what you're going to do is you are going to serve that market as best you can. Best you can. You're going to be like, hey, whatever. And in the beginning, here's what people miss. In the beginning of your business, get in the trenches. What does that mean? It means rub elbows with your market. A lot of people wonder why I've been so successful at teaching affiliate marketing. One of the reasons, and I'm not the best, I don't get that many people, but I do pretty well, okay? One of the reasons was back in 2008. Again, this is going to come full circle. 2008, when I started teaching, I told the people about that video I had. Some of them bought it on the spot, some of them did not. The ones that did not filled out a form to watch the free video, okay? After they filled out the form, I had a little form mail. I didn't even think form mails work anymore. That's how old this was. It had name, email, and then I had a box to say, what is your number one question online? Ask here, and Marcus will answer. And what did I do? I literally sat there and I literally answered them. Why? Because I figured out, with the knowledge I had, if I had the personal experience, the amount of conversions I would get would be insane. And not only that, not about the conversions, because I took it was like $300 I made the first day I put the business online, and then the next month, or the first month I put it online, it was like February, made like 280, and then the next month we did like 10K or something like that. And the reason, and again, results not typical, implied, or guaranteed, it was a big business, I had been doing this for a long time. I want you to look at this practically, okay? Being in the trenches taught me about my market. That was better than the 10K I made in the month. I didn't know it at the time. I was like, 10K, woohoo, cool. But I didn't know what I was getting was a valuable lesson in my market. Okay, Michael says, I think there's a significant number of people who are approaching retirement with little or no savings and need to leverage their skills and assets to generate income. Good, right? An untapped market is how are retirees going to fare with AI? How are they going to fare with all the government stuff? How are they going to fare with all this stuff? There's people out there that are doing this kind of information, and if you can get a small group of them, because here's the deal. One of the things I learned early on in life was people look at two options. Buy this, rent this. Date this person, date that person. Go bankrupt, don't go bankrupt. They look at two things. When over here, there's a third option. And I remember with that mortgage broker I was telling you about, I told her, I said, there's always a third option. And she's like, there's no way you're going to get this house. There's no way it's going to work. And I said, there's always a third option, and we're going to find it. And she was shocked. She's like, maybe you should be the mortgage guy. But I just did some research. And what I learned is there's always a third option. There's always something else that you can do in relation to business, usually, right? Looking at that and understanding, okay, well, what is the third option? What is out there? There's people that are retiring, and they're like, I'm on a fixed income. Well, if you get a side hustle or do a business, then it's unfixed. Now you can make your own. Is there things that I can help people with in this third option realm? Because a lot of people look up this versus that, which means they're missing out on something that could be more beneficial, better, make them more, save them more, do something faster, or whatever it is. And understanding that in your niche, our job is to find that for them, okay? And starting to look at this, other things you can do. So we talked about the email list and building and lead magnets. Anyone can go out there and create something good. The gal with the underwriting, right? She could go out there and she could make a really, really good guide about underwriting. And let's say, instead of watching a bunch of videos or taking a bunch of courses or buying the guru, whatever, let's say she just goes through and she's like, for the next 2 days, I am going to dig into my market and I'm going to understand it unlike ever before. I'm going to go over to Notebook LM. I'm going to get videos, people talking about this stuff. I'm going to go over to Claude and DeepSeek, and I'm going to go over to Gemini, and I'm going to say, find, okay, there's a new one. See, this is it. Every minute there's something new. Let's see. Do we want to try it? Let's try it. We'll try it later. We're going to go in and we're going to say, tell me everything you can find recently about the underwriting process, okay? I should have said for mortgages, but it'll probably understand it. So now what we're going to do is we're going to look at this. And what we need to do is we need to be practical, okay? Underwriting changes. Okay, so it did understand finance. Good. Let's do mortgages only, please. Okay? And you're going to have a leg up because you know the market. Okay, so we're going to do like this, and it should change it and give us a new plan. And then you're going to be able to go through and say, okay, well, what would be helpful, what wouldn't? Your job is to be the most helpful ever. You want to have the best helpful mortgage underwriting site in history. Now, does that mean the biggest? The largest with the most content? No, that means the most helpful. Sometimes I can help someone better with a 5-word answer than an entire encyclopedia can. Just depends on the person, what they want, what kind of hurry they're in, which I don't know if you've noticed, but everyone on the internet is in a hurry, and they want what they want now. Very important. We've got to use that in our marketing. But now I could go through, and I can use this to understand and structure things. You might not think about things the way a course builder works or the way a website works or content structure. This is going to do it for you, okay? Jeff says, show us how to stack different AI. This is what's going to happen. Watch, this is the first part. So you're going to stack this one, get all the info on underwriting. Next, we're going to take this info, we're going to put it into ChatGPT, and we're going to get an outline for a giveaway. I want to shoot for anywhere from like 9 to 40-page giveaway. And that's liberal. You're going to have images and diagrams and things, so not every page is going to be, 8-point font, so it's not going to be that huge. But we want like a 9 to 40-page guide, and we want it to be benefit-oriented. I don't want the history of underwriting or underwriting 101. I want, here's the things your underwriter won't tell you. Here's the things your mortgage broker won't tell you. Boom, that's what we want. Then ChatGPT is going to create this. Very cool. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to spend a bunch of time giving it away. Okay, now I can load that. This is one of the things people don't realize. If I have that in a document file, like a PDF or something like that, as long as I have an affiliate disclaimer, I can have affiliate links in that PDF. It's not recommended, because if the link ever changes, there's problems there. You can use a link shortener, but I would recommend getting your own site. But again, if you have to start where you have to start, do a link shortener or something like that. But now, my whole goal is going to be giving it away. How am I going to give it away? Well, I'm going to break it up. Just break it up. Let's look for all the keywords about mortgage underwriting and things like that, and start to break it up into little pieces. Here's what to do when this happens. Here's what to do when that happens. Then I can go through and say, okay, now I got, let's say our report came out at 23 pages. There's probably like 23 different tips in there. I'm going to find keywords based on all 23 tips. I could make a video. I could make a little article. I could make a blog post. I could go on forums and Twitters and share good info. What's going to happen here is you are leading with info that makes people happy. Good stuff. Far too many people are trying to lead with the affiliate offer. How do I make a website to promote this offer? What's the best affiliate offer? When people ask me that, it drives me up the wall. There is no best affiliate offer. It has to do with your traffic method, right? If you come to me and you're like, well, I have a following on Facebook that likes, interior decorating, well, that's going to be a different best offer than others, okay? Yeah, use your own domain name and change it on the back end as needed. We have a script plugin that works with WordPress that does that. I think it's an AI Profit Scoop. Next, product offer creation. So now in number 9, you're going to find the things to offer them. What are affiliate offers that would work for people that are reading whatever we have? Then you set up your funnel, your opt-in page. If you have an upsell, if you're selling your own stuff, you can do that. Now, a lot of people don't realize you can actually create things in ChatGPT. You can make a code that would work on a website. A lot of times, I knew this guy years ago, back before I got into plugin marketing, and he made a simple plugin. He was a programmer. I was not. He knew programming. I was kind of jealous. I wish I learned programming. But he had this little tool, and he was making like $500,000 a year with it. Again, he was the anomaly, not the norm. The average person makes zero. Average person probably loses money. But there are ways to set these up where you could get instant feedback without investing a bunch, right? There are some ways to shortcut it, like buying an existing business, buying an existing website that already ranks, like you guys saw me do last week with the video explainer site. There are shortcuts you can do if you have the means to do them. Again, they're not guaranteed, but it will shortcut the process, and I've used them in a very, very specific way. Then, if you're selling something, let's say you sell your guide. Maybe you have your mortgage underwriting guide and you sell it for $19 or $17. You can use Stripe, PayPal, Gumroad, or whatever, and there are people doing this all the time. Make sure that your course is ethical, it's good, and you don't cross over any lines, and use AI to check up. But we didn't have this when I started. We had to go on our own and figure this stuff out and outline it and build it, where now you don't have to. Now you can do it in an easy way. Now, also, one of the things that I did early on when I was getting into teaching people how to build blogs, we promoted web hosting, which paid really well, made a lot with that. I also bought the rights to this guy who had a bunch of blog templates and website templates, and it worked really good. Journey says, that's what I'd like to do, create a tool that will help high achievers reach their potential. Well, again, it comes back to defining who's the high achiever. What is their potential? Is it someone looking for Zen and they want to be the guru? Is it someone that wants to be wealthy? Is it someone that, what is it you want? The more you understand your market, the better you're going to do. And the way you're going to do it is by just rubbing elbows with them, get in there, understand what they want. And virtually, of course, you're reading comments, listening to what they say on feedback pages, stuff like that. And when we use our tool stack, we can do this. Like I could go through, I could take all the comments on a blog post, I can run them in AI, I can get an FAQ, I can build a page on it, give it away. That's more stuff. What you're doing is you're building all these things that are leading back to the same thing. CRM, customer support system, this one, depending on how big you want your business to be, like if you're going to have a mailing list and you're going to take charge cards, I think at one point we were paying like almost $4,000 a month for our CRM, which was ridiculous because I didn't realize I was charged per subscriber even if they weren't active. It's like a $40,000 oversight there, but you live and learn. But you can do a lot of this with AI. Now, like if you're doing, let's say you were doing like the underwriting thing, what I would do with that is I would get a website with a blog on it, and then I would put something like Amember. This is what we use on ours, and it's basically like $150 one time. It works with every payment processor I can think of. There's probably a few missing. I've ran multiple businesses on that, including a 7-figure business, and it's held up pretty good. It's all internal. It's all easy. Never had to pay ClickFunnels or High Level or any fancy thing, anything. Never paid a penny to those. I do use Infusionsoft or Keep for mailing list and charges and stuff like that. But a lot of what we do is actually ran on Amember, which is really cool. Very easy to set up. Again, that's a skill you can learn, how to set that up. Go set it up for people. Analytics and tracking. This one, AI is getting bigger at. Monetization, this is where you could go through and say, hey, I have this blog post, or I have a lot of people responding to this. What could I sell? What could I give them? How could I help them? Automation, back in the day, you had to come up with emails and think about them and edit them. Now, it's all there. I remember years ago when I first started the teaching business, Frank Kern came out with this cash plan. It's like a 4-day thing, and you send it to your email list. And I remember it was like templates. He's like, just insert your product here, put your name here, put the benefit here, whatever. And he was like, send these 4 emails out over 4 days, watch what happens. And I was like, dude, I made like 70 grand on that. That's pretty cool. And it was all templates. This is the kind of thing AI can do. It can write them for you, and you're not just locked into a 4-day, one-time thing. You can get emails for everything. It will do that. And that's why we're going through and looking at our AI system as, what are we building and growing? Okay, can I use it to research my niche? Yes, that's something I'll do with like ChatGPT. Can I use it to go through and deep research? Yeah, that's something I'm gonna use Gemini for. Can I make content about that? Yeah, that's something I'm gonna use ChatGPT for, right? Making the content about it. Can I use it to make images out of the content? Cool little drawings and things like that. I'll never forget, one of the most popular things I ever put up, let me see if I can find it here. This is we're actually gonna be going through this at AIProfitScoop.com. This will be free on there. It is going to be something that everyone can go through. Let me see if I can find it. Reports. Or tools. Let's see. AI Profit. I think it was reports. But we can go through, and I got to get my login. Get the report. Here it is. So this is one of the things that was most popular back in the day. It was actually like something I wrote in handwriting, and we're converting it with AI right now. But it's like a little cash thing. It's like, okay, if you want to find money in your market, this is how you do it. And it was just something I jotted down on a notebook, and it went really good. This is the kind of thing I can cut up and put on social media. This is the kind of thing I can do as a giveaway. I can expand on. I can have a video on. And a lot of people don't realize you can do little helpful things that will lead into big results, right? It might be a mailing list. It might be a following. Could be money. Whatever it is, you're going through and looking at it in a different way, understanding your market and helping them. Getting that AI tool stack that's going to help you. Next, marketing and promotion. This is where you could do all kinds of stuff, from creating a flyer, creating an ebook, creating whatever. Very, very simple. My niche are people who want to earn money as affiliate promoting websites. That's a pretty specific niche. I think it's very crowded. It's up to you. I would try to find something more specific. The more specific you can get, the better it's going to be, and the more happy your clients are going to be. Marketing, promotion, legal setup. AI is not really here yet, but it can help you make boilerplate disclaimers. Testing and optimization. This is something that a lot of people don't realize. What we want to do is we want to test. I test everything. If I go out there and I put that guide on Facebook, let's say I put all 7 days on Facebook, okay? Out of that, how many came to my website? Out of that, how many opted in? Out of that, how many bought something? These are numbers you need to know. People come to your site, how many are clicking, how many are buying? If it's an affiliate offer, how many are clicking, how many are buying, how many people saw it? All these things need to fit together, And we need to build it because this is what's going to help you scale. If you don't have these numbers, you will never scale because there's no way possible you could except by sheer luck, by getting like a huge following, but you're going to be losing a bunch of money because you're not going to be paying attention to the numbers that matter. And those numbers are everything. If you don't like numbers, you need to learn to like numbers. Then we're going to go through and community building with Facebook and stuff like that. You could go through and you could say, let's say we have the underwriting one, see how that's doing. Now break this into 10 news items and 10 helpful items and 10, I don't know, current event items I can post on my Facebook group about mortgages, or something like that. And this will go through and it'll do this in a very, very specific way. Journey says, thank you, Marcus. I started this morning doing market research on the market of high achievers, understanding them, decoding high achievers, barriers to unleashing. So yeah, you would want to look at that because oftentimes high achievers are very busy. So you need to figure out where they're at. So here we have news stuff, 24 lending data, some kind of act, FHA loan limits, that would be a good thing. All this stuff here. So there's a lot of stuff, and this is things that you can branch out and make content about. Mortgage rates still hovering, 6%. Housing inventory increase, that's going to increase more. There's like 1 million houses for sale right now. That ain't going to be good for the prices. But these are things that people are interested in and stuff that will be a blanket type thing that you can cast your net to mortgage people buying a house or whatever and get that. Do membership sites do well? They seem like they can. Yeah, I have several membership sites. I started one in December. It's doing really good now. It's the AI Profit Scoop one. Really happy about that. It works very, very well. Got a lot of good info in there as well. So now I can go through and I can turn this into whatever content I want, where I could say, okay, let's get this data. And you can even do prevention model where you're like, okay, let's get them before they get their mortgage. What about people thinking of buying a house in 2025? Boom, there we go. That's something good. So now I can go through, go to ChatGPT. I'm going to put this in here. Let's do new project. Not a new project. We want new chat. There we go. And I'll say, look at this data and find interesting things for people who may want to buy a house in 2025. Okay? And this will go through and it'll look at it in a very specific way because now you're casting a little bit bigger net. Like, oh, all the people that might want to buy a house, these are the new regulations, the rates, the info that you would need to know. And giving away something, again, think of it as, I want to give away something that's so good, it kind of hurts, right? Like I want to be like, man, I should charge for that, but I'm going to give it away anyway. When I started doing this on my teaching business here, things went crazy because I'm like, I'm just going to teach things, and if people want to work with me, you know where to find me, right there, right? And doing that, people flock to me. They're like, oh my God, what do you have to buy? Because it is just a helpful thing. Focus on your visitor first, help them first, listen, adjust, be willing to adjust. I'll never forget, years ago when I was studying product launches, one of the tips they did is they went through and they were like, let's do a launch on a blog, which I know a lot of people say you need fancy, expensive software to do a launch. I've been doing this 25 years. You know the fancy software I launched my stuff on? Yeah, WordPress. It works. Why mess with what works? It doesn't cost much. It comes with your host. Very easy. But what they did is they had comments on the launch. So they would do a video. So like for you, make your guide. Then you put up a video and you say, hey, these are things you need to know if you're buying a house in 2025. And then you watch the comments. Oh, man, shoot. I wanted to buy something that's $800,000. Finally, I can. Or, oh, my gosh, the rates are 7. I'll never afford stuff. Or, over here in Tallahassee, the houses are blowing away or whatever, right? And you start to look at that and you're like, okay, read the comments and learn and adjust. And you can even respond to them. Say, hey, sorry you're having that issue. Here's a place you can go to get that. Find that third option for them. Pretty cool. CJ says she runs a Facebook group. Cool. Yeah, those work well. I have a student of mine that learned my toolbar stuff, and she went on, she did really well. I won't say the numbers. The last number I heard was very big, more than I make, which I'm like, hey, okay, well, I guess that's good. That's a compliment to me as a teacher, right? And she does really well. And it was with Facebook groups. She went out there in Facebook group marketing. And I remember she came to me in 2018, and she's like, let's do some webinars to these people with Facebook groups. I'm like, okay, I'm down. Go get us some. And I thought she was going to come to me with like one webinar. But she got me like 5 a day. And, it made a bunch, which is really cool. So starting to look at that and understand what's going on and how it works, sorry about that, CJ, is key. And if you can learn about your market and just listen, game over, right? Listen. And now with AI, we have the ability to take what we listen and change it into stuff. Sometimes people didn't have the creativity to do this. Now we do. Smart underwriting, AI is changing the game. I didn't know that. Faster decisions, AI tools are speeding up loan processing, right? So you could do something like AI is in loan processing, which obviously means less human oversight, which obviously means more people getting denied that probably shouldn't, or accepted that probably shouldn't. Better access, key takeaways. If you're renting or don't have a perfect credit score, your positive financial behaviors like paying this could help you qualify. Cool. It's a social media post there. Interest rates and affordability remain key. See how it structured that into content, right? Then I can go through and I can say, cool, let's do this. Now make a cool social media image with a house on it and charts for this. Let's do Facebook full size, something like that, okay? And it'll go through and it'll create that image. I'm going to do it over here just to make sure that we get a good image, because you never know what AI is going to put in there, right? But starting to understand, I'm using these tools together, and there is a system. And the system is to go through, get the tools that work, and build what we're doing. What am I doing this for, right? Go through, find your niche. Find your niche. Get good content for the niche. Distribute content to build a following or mailing list. Then use AI to listen to what they want. You could even put, there's AI in email now. You could set up an email address and say, every time someone emails for help, understand it. And the AI will go through and it'll be like, hey, 19 people out of 37 said that they can't apply for this. Or 19 people didn't know how to check their credit. This is going to give you insight into your market, and you'll be like a beast. Remember how I said the key is he or she who knows the most about the market wins. And it's going to take some work, but those willing to do it, I think, can get some pretty good results. I think you can go out there and build something slow at first, and then watch and scale. Brave says, my Pinterest account, I've been posting consistently for a month. My niche quiz site is starting to pick up views and engagements. Awesome. Yeah, and this is stuff where, can you do this on Pinterest? You absolutely could. Thinking about where these people are and where it ranks. What you want to do is find places that will distribute your content and will help the most people possible. Like, okay, should I do this on TikTok? Well, is your audience on TikTok? If they are, go for it. If they're not, maybe not. And thinking about where the best content is. That's what we talked about in today's video, which after this, go watch that. I think it'll be very eye-opening to what we're doing here. It's this one here called AI Overload. Watch it after this one's done. What I really looked at was the difference between vast reach, right? Like, can I do something and reach 500,000 people? Yes. But are those the 500,000 people I want? Not always. Sometimes
Actually, most of the time, not always. A lot of people are focused on big views, lots of subscribers, lots of stuff. Get it out there. Where in reality, I've had videos that get like 3 people, and they make more than one that gets a lot of people, or something like that. I'll never forget one video I had that did, it was a little tutorial video about a product, and it did, I think, what was it? It had like 131 people watch it, and it made like 18 grand. Now, results not typical, implied, or guaranteed. Nobody does that. It was specific traffic. They watched a series of videos to get up to it, but that shows the power of the right audience. Does that mean everyone's going to make 130 views and get this money? Of course not. It takes work. Most people that get 131 views on a video make 0. That's the vast majority. Most people make nothing. Some people get 1 million views and make 0. But starting to look at this and understand about getting the right customer, right? Like, can I put a banner ad on Yahoo? Yeah, I could. Is that going to get the people I want? Well, I might do better if I'm on financial news. Yeah, that would be better for the mortgage guy or whatever it is. And starting to understand how this works and looking at it practically and saying it's about building. Like the example of the 131 views, okay? Those views were on my site. It was not on a public video hosted place. And they came from my mailing list. So this was all from building what I'm showing you to build. So starting to understand this and look at it practically as a business and say, where can we get in here? How can we do this? How would that work? That's where we start to look at it. And sometimes you can have big paydays, sometimes they're little, sometimes there's nothing. But looking at it practically is key. The use cases here is AI-powered content funnels, lead generation with AI opt-ins, auto site builders for niches where you could go through and make a tool. A lot of people don't realize, but you can use something like Bolt to make a tool for your website that would get people in. Like maybe you go through, let's say you're the refinance person. Are we logged in here? Or not the refi, I don't know if this is logged in. The underwriter person. Please make an underwriting quiz for people who are wondering if they will pass the approval process in mortgage underwriting. Include stuff like things that cause flags, amounts, and things like that. And let's see what it does. It should do a pretty good job. What I'm thinking is like, okay, let's look for the little check the icon boxes and things like that and see what we could make that would build this out. And then I can use this as something with my giveaway too. The more stuff you can give them, the more they're going to hang out on your content, which is going to make more, okay? Because obviously more traffic usually makes more money. And so now we have this here, and we'll wait for that to load. Let's see how our Gemini did here. And then I think we had our ChatGPT image. Let's see how that's coming out. There we go. So this would be a pretty good thing I can post. Smart underwriting, AI is changing the game. Faster decisions, fewer delays, tools, this, that, and the other. Can you make it more about what to do now that AI is involved from the borrower standpoint? And then you can go through and actually have it create other things, like maybe a checklist, something like that. And a lot of these will tie into keywords as well. So building that up, let's see how Bolt did. It's still going. Auto site builders, email sequences, data cleaning, offer matching, printables. Okay, so like if you were gonna do a side hustle, you can make like a printable planner or something like that. YouTube Shorts, you can create little videos, different things like that. Pinterest traffic, affiliate link, YouTube Shorts, follow-up. You can do all kinds of follow-up things, give them more stuff. again, everything leads back to whatever you're doing. Like if you guys are on any of my mailing lists, what we do is we put all the notes from all of our videos over on our website, right? So you can see over here, over on our website, you have a bunch of notes from the videos along with my picture there, right? And on the notes, on all of the pages, it says, you want to work with Marcus personally, click here. And then you click here, and it says it over here, right? Well, it's supposed to. There we go. It says it over here, like this is the one for today's video. And then you have all your other stuff there that works really good too. So cool stuff, very simple. You just go through and you're like, okay, let me simplify this. Simple doesn't always mean easy. It just means a simplified process. You can do a one-page lead magnet where it's like, put your name and email, get the guide, probably be a two-page deal. AI blog builders, product comparisons, tools and calculators, stuff that's simple. Maybe you go through and you're like, hey, I'm going to make content on how to pick the right mattress, right? We've had lots of high-ticket niches where we go through and do mattresses. They rank really well. Just have to keep building and keep growing. That's what it takes. A lot of people, this is why, most people trying to make money online make nothing because they get distracted and there's a lot of variables and it's easy to give up and there's no oversight. It is a business. It is a job. It takes work. Over 25 years that I've done it, there's been some times where I've done things that have been insanely fast and easy. But again, it's like the old saying they say as a magician. There's a young magician who goes up to the older one and he's like, hey, how long did it take you to learn that trick? And he's like, 5 minutes plus 25 years. And the kid's like, what do you mean? Well, it took me 25 years to be able to learn that in 5 minutes. And that's a lot of what you guys see. You're seeing the tip of the iceberg of what people are teaching. Are there some shortcuts and things that can make it not as hard? Yeah, there are. There are some things. Obviously, if you were starting from ground zero with no help at all, that's going to be the hardest thing. The money isn't in doing more. It's in making your time count for more. How can I make this hour count for more than the last hour? How can I make what I sit down and do now count for more than what I did yesterday? Looking at this in terms of time is key. Tom says, I saw an offer that pays $322 for a certain mattress. How would you promote that? Well, I would promote that on my domain that is about mattresses. And you can go through and do a systematic content. That's where you're going to go through and learning your AI system, you're going to plug it in, right? We're like, okay, can I plug an offer in? Because you guys might notice when people come to me with ideas like the underwriting one, I have a process I go through. If you can use that where maybe you don't know how to come up with that process and you're confused, right? Maybe you could go through and say, well, AI, what would you do here? How would you promote this? Where would you get the best traffic? On and on we go. And that's kind of, that's where you're looking at plugging in that process, saying, okay, what is my niche or what is it I want to promote? Okay, cool. What do I do next? Maybe I'll go to ChatGPT, get some advice on that. Maybe I'll go out there and say, okay, instead of using DeepSeek to find this kind of content, what I've actually tried this for is different types of content, because it's kind of like searching. Everyone can search Google, but if you know how to search Google like a marketer, whatever you want to call it, I don't know what the specific term would be, but if you know how to search different, you're going to get different results that are going to be more valuable. There are people that can make money searching and compiling data and understanding things in a different way and distributing it where you could do giveaways, you could do businesses, all kinds of things like that. So if you know how to go in here, like just this morning, I was looking up, I don't know if it was in this one. Yeah, this one, income report. I was going through and getting income reports from sites. So instead of, hey, Gemini, deep research, go find me all the news about X, Y, and Z, I was like, go find me websites that are reporting income, build a list of niches. That's something I can take and use. Or I could go through and say, something more specific, like with the underwriting or the mattresses or whatever it is, I could go through and say, what are all the problems people have with these? What are all the things people want to know? What are the downsides? What's the least liked one? What's the most liked one? And using this to understand your market is absolutely key. Then we can go through and compile that data in maybe a spreadsheet, a transcript, a post, SEO sheets, categories, or whatever. And when you stack these systems on top of each other, you're going to realize that some of them are good for certain things, like Gemini is good for going out there and researching. There was a video I did that we have in our AI Profit Scoop. I will load it tonight. I have it. I just need to upload it, which was about the crazy ways to find niches that other people don't teach. And it was this weird way of being able to use what I call search joggers, which are kind of like the Google shortcuts where you use like all in title, keyword, site, different things like that to find specific data. Now, back when I made that video, which is why I'm uploading it there, it was 2022 before AI came out big. I think it might have even been 2021, but the video is way more relevant today than it was when I made it. Because what happens is it's teaching you, oh, if those search joggers work and the AI is literally doing deep research, keyword search, then if I give it those joggers, it's going to get a completely different output. This is a process I use. Using that process where I could go through and say, hey, get me data on, the income reports. Notice how I said, using the search query, cite income report in quotes, so it knows that's what I want. Get me the sites that are making money. Boom. It did really well. I thought it was going to give me more, so I'll have to run it again. But again, that's the process to create something helpful. Thinking about how I can get data fast for people that might not have it, right? Like the mortgage underwriting, it's a very underserved market. Or maybe niches. There are people I know that have niche membership sites. They just share niches. And there was one I paid like $300 for, and it just disappeared one day. And I was like, man, I'm still trying to find out where I downloaded all the stuff. But they do make a lot of money with little niche sites and things like that where you're just doing helpful stuff, or a membership site about cool AI shortcuts or whatever. Thinking about it different. To recap, here are some top picks for beginners. If you're a beginner, learn ChatGPT. Claude has huge documentability. Notebook LM. What I like about Notebook LM is it isolates your info. So if I go through here and I use Gemini to get a bunch of data, and then I throw that in Notebook LM, I'm getting all the info for Notebook LM. Like it's isolated. It's not going to go out and look for other. It's going to look at what I gave it. This is key if you know how to use it. It'll turn your notes, blog drafts, websites, videos, all kinds of things into summaries, overviews, and you can ask it questions, and you can get mind maps. A lot of people don't realize that. It'll actually do mind maps, which is crazy cool. I use Notebook LM all the time. I think it is the most underrated AI out there. Oh, look, we actually did a mortgage underwriting one the other day. And this actually did keyword research, which was really cool. So going through, here's your mind map. Mortgage underwriting, key terms. Boom. Oh, there's a lot of terms. Underwriting process. And this is like literally setting up your content. This is a system. I could take all this data and be like, boom. Now I'm off to the races. Very cool. We can also look at Gemini, Perplexity, video creation. I'm torn on this. I believe in making our own videos. I'm not going to trust AI to just make a video. I did one the other day, and it was like terrifying. But I would use AI to make the script and maybe the voice, and then compile it myself. But yeah, that's what I would do. Hedra is good. 11 Labs is good. Top picks for AI image generation. I think right now I'm liking Leonardo. Very solid for images. That's where we got our thumbnail. I'm really, really liking, what's the other one? ChatGPT, because it does the images or the text on the images. Game changer. Those are my two favorites. Midjourney, I heard switch their platform. I couldn't stand when it was on Discord. I was like, what? But yeah, looking at the flow, you're going to get traction. Okay, get your audience. let's go back up here and we'll line it up for you. Where do we go? GLF. Get attention, generate leads, follow up. This is the bedrock of a good business. And now that you know, hey, I don't got to pay people to write stuff. I used to pay writers. I used to have one on staff, thousands of dollars a month. I paid hire writers, probably more than I paid for my house. I paid iWriter probably more than I paid for my house. I have AI content writers on staff that I know for sure cost more than my house. And so you start to look at that and it's like, okay, now I got AI. It'll do this for you. It'll do this for you. And understanding your market is key. Start with that. Start basic. Be practical. Take small steps. Right? Like John says, Piclumen is good for images. Cool. Maybe start teaching AI stuff or whatever. And a lot of people don't realize there are simpler ways to do things, faster ways to do things. Like if you're going to promote an image generator, what better way than to make cool images to promote said image generator? It's not that hard. Little tips and things you can do. But again, remember, it's all about practicality. It's all about realistic stuff, like can I get a visitor? Can I get this? Can I get that? The first person who opt-ins, I get excited. Why? Marcus, you make a bunch of money. Why would you care if one guy opted in? Because I know that new concept works. Once I know it works, I'm off to the races and I can scale it. So hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you did, smash the like button. Check out that other video. Definitely check it out now. It's very important. Talks about what we're doing, how I'm changing up my teaching and stuff like that. Kind of a personal video, so check it out right here. And thanks for being here. Check out AIProfitScoop.com if you want to get notes and all kinds of cool stuff. I'll see you in the next training.